Houston, Texas, the early 1970s. A quiet neighborhood where kids rode their bikes, families left doors unlocked, and everyone knew the man who ran the local candy factory. Dean Corll was the friendly face who handed out sweets to children, earning him the nickname the Candy Man. But behind that warm smile and generous reputation was a nightmare. Over 3 horrifying years, Corll and his teenage accomplices kidnapped, tortured, and murdered at least 28 boys. This is the shocking story of Dean Corll, the Candyman killer. Dean Arnold Corll was born in 1939 in Fort Wayne, Indiana. His parents' marriage was rocky, and he spent his childhood shuttling between homes. In the 1950s, the Corll family moved to Houston, Texas, where they opened a small candy business. Dean, polite and well-mannered, helped run the company. He handed out free candy to kids in the neighborhood, quickly earning their trust, and that now chilling nickname, the Candy Man. Neighbors described him as quiet, respectful, even generous. But there were early warning signs. Corll was overly interested in teenage boys, often inviting them to his home, giving them treats, alcohol, and access to a place to hang out without parents around. By all appearances, Corll lived a normal suburban life. But in reality, he was leading a disturbing double life. In 1968, he was drafted into the U.S. Army, but was discharged after just 10 months, later admitting he didn't like military life. He returned to Houston, resumed working at the family candy business, and continued cultivating his image as the friendly neighborhood adult. But now, his interest in teenage boys grew darker. He began grooming local young men with gifts, money, and a place to hang out, carefully selecting vulnerable targets. In 1970, Corll befriended a 12-year-old boy named David Owen Brooks. Corll groomed him with gifts, attention, and money, eventually sexually abusing him. Over time, Brooks became not just a victim, but a willing participant. Corll also brought in another teenager, Elmer Wayne Henley. At first, Henley thought Corll's plan was to recruit boys for a supposed white slavery ring, for which Corll offered to pay him $200 per boy. Eventually, Henley became fully involved, helping lure victims to Corll's home. Together, this trio formed one of the most terrifying partnerships in American crime history. Between 1970 and 1973, Dean Corll, Brooks, and Henley abducted boys aged between 13 and 20, often lured with promises of parties, drinking, or a place to crash. Once inside Corll's home, the victims were handcuffed, tied to a plywood torture board, and subjected to unimaginable cruelty. Many were sexually assaulted, strangled, or shot. Corll buried their bodies in various locations around Houston, including rented storage sheds, beaches, and a boat shed. What made the crimes even more chilling was how ordinary everything seemed on the surface. Parents assumed their missing sons were runaways. Police didn't investigate deeply at first. Corll operated in the shadows of suburban normalcy, hiding pure evil behind a friendly face. Corll's reign of terror ended abruptly on August 8, 1973. That night, Elmer Wayne Henley invited a friend and a teenage girl to Corll's house, something Corll didn't approve of. Enraged, Corll handcuffed Henley and threatened to kill him. But Henley convinced Corll to let him go, promising to help. Instead, Henley grabbed Corll's gun and turned it on him. After a tense struggle, Henley shot Corll multiple times, killing him on the spot. Henley then called police and confessed everything: the murders, the bodies, the years of horror. What police would uncover next shocked the nation. Body after body was recovered, many identified as boys who had been reported missing over the years. Over the following weeks, police uncovered a series of shallow graves. In total, at least 28 victims were confirmed, making Dean Corll one of America's most prolific serial killers at the time. Brooks and Henley were arrested. Henley's testimony provided investigators with gruesome details about Corll's methods. The case horrified the country, not just for the brutality of the murders, but because Corll had lived undetected in plain sight, preying on children from his own neighborhood. Dean Corll's crimes left a permanent scar on Houston. His story became a grim reminder that evil can hide behind the most ordinary faces, even the man who hands out candy on the corner. The Candyman's legacy is one of betrayal, horror, and unimaginable cruelty. What makes this case even more disturbing is that it might never have been discovered if Henley hadn't turned the gun on Corll that night. This has been Unearthed Horrors of History, where history meets horror. Tell us what you think in the comments. And if you love unraveling history's darkest legends, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more chilling stories.